What's going on, guys? Spencer Clays here, and I've had a ton of questions about the soft wash tank. A lot of you guys have got it. You're making a ton of money with it, which is awesome. But this thing, it's a machine, it has problems, it fails. So I'm gonna run through quickly everything. Like, I've used this thing for 3 years, and it's never let me down when I know what to do, when I know what to fix. So let's just run through it real quick. Start off, obviously, step number one, make sure, so this is the 26 gallon tank from Northern Tool, a 5.5 gallon per minute pump that connects to a 12 volt battery. So right off the bat, I have a deep cycle battery. This one's just the 800 marine cranking amps, but really any bigger 12 volt battery is gonna do. You want deep cycle because that means you can charge it down and charge it back up. So if you don't have that, the battery's gonna be shot. It's not gonna last very long. So that's number one. Is the battery charged? A lot of these things are gonna seem very simple, but if you're on the job, it's late, it's getting dark, and you're like, fuck, I need to finish this. You're not necessarily thinking as clearly. So step one, battery, is it charged? So you can get a quick little voltmeter. I got one from Harbor Freight for $8. And I just check it, make sure it's at least, if it's at 11.4, it's pretty much dead if it's below that. Because a 12 volt battery is typically 12.5 volts, is 12.6 I think is fully charged. So if it's below 12, or if it's below 11.4, probably charge the battery. And then with that, you can get the battery tender is what it's called. So start off there. If the battery's charged, you know that you've checked the voltmeter, it's good. And you checked everything up, make sure everything's tight. And then I believe this thing needs to be turned on too. And then this thing is, I just got this. It's probably need to tighten that in a sec. But you can hear it's turned on, it's working. There's a shitty little hose, so don't mind that. But so obviously, so we have power, everything's working, cool. This thing shoots pretty far, it's cool. Spraying bleach, making money, right? Obviously this doesn't have bleach in it, otherwise I would not be spraying it around willy-nilly. So I'm gonna let this run down. So the next step is, if you really wanna listen to the pump. Right now I can hear, it sounds good, it's making noise. I can tell there's power, right? If it's not pumping, the next step is what happens when you're up on a roof. This is a short hose, so this is a bad example. But when you're up on the roof, sometimes you're not able to hear the pump working. And also, as soon as an air bubble gets here, it's really easy to miss because you can hear it. It's kind of working. It's about to run down in a sec. Okay, so now you can hear it. It's kind of making that noise, and the pump is losing energy, losing power. It's because there's air in here. And so what we need to do, obviously shut it off. Make sure this is full. This is simple, but I've seen guys forget it, and then they'll fill it up. So very clearly make sure that this thing is filled up. Sometimes with there's soap in here, you're not gonna necessarily be able to see that the water, that the hose, the intake hose, maybe it's popped up. And then, so another thing that's really important is if there is air. So because this is on the ground, this is gonna work. It's gonna fill up no problem. But when you have this thing up on a roof, just gravity, and you have a 100-foot hose, that air bubble needs to get out. So a lot of times you'll have to take the entire hose off the roof, get it below, because just gravity wise, it's not gonna be able to push that air bubble up. So I've seen that people will ask me hey, it's not working, what's going on? And it's just because there's that air bubble. You need to get the hose back down, switch this thing off and on, get it back off and on, and you should be good to go. So that brings us to, so first off, battery. Second off, terminals, make sure those are tight. If it's not turning on, it could be a fuse. So there's a fuse box right here. It's a tiny little fuse box. Let me show you. So there's a little fuse box right here. It's unlikely that this thing is blown, but if it is, I've seen it when sometimes you charge the battery too much, this will blow. So the fuse blowing is not as common, but you do see it happen sometimes when it's getting older. And then if that still doesn't work, if the pump, so another thing you're supposed to do is you're supposed to clean this thing out every single time you use it with bleach. Sodium hypochlorite is very corrosive, so you need to rinse it out with clean water for at least a minute or two after you're done spraying. Sometimes we forget, like I said, it's the end of a long day. You've been spraying bleach all day, you're tired, you want to go home. You say, fuck it, you'll clean it out later. and this thing will get corroded. So this is actually the bleach version of the pump. The other ones that I've used, they typically last about a year. And I know they have like a 2-year warranty, but honestly, a year for this thing's like $200. So just buy a new one. That is, and one last thing too is I have an extra one of these cables too, because sometimes like I said, the fuse will blow, or sometimes the cable just gets old, or this won't connect right. So I'll have an extra one of these. So I hope that helps, guys. Just remember, check everything, double check it, listen to how the thing is working, and you should be able to troubleshoot it from there. So watch this video again if you ever need any help. Let me know if you got any questions about it in the comments. I have a full build set of how to actually build this thing in another video. I'll link that above. And get after it, guys. This thing's a money printing machine. Let's make some money, guys. Let's go.
Thanks for tuning in to the Spencer Clay Show. That's all for now. See you in the next episode. Peace.